Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Pre-Market PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan. Coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we place in your hand each and every trading day. All right, so starting off properly, we got the Dow futures up 130 points, trading at 27,556. NASDAQ 100 is up 55.5 points at 11,222.5. We got the E-mini S&P 500 up 20.25 points at 33.50.5. Russell My Hustle up 10.6 points at 15.13 even. And we got the Bitcoin Futures Composite Index up 15 bucks, trading at 10,330. We got nat gas off a penny at $2.30. Crude oil down a quarter at $37.05. Long bond up 630 seconds at 176 and 1430 seconds. Gold trading at $1,959 an ounce, down 5.6. That's $5.60. We got silver trading at $27.11, off 18 cents. We have the U.S. dollar index down 12 pips at 93.21. Euro dollar up 27 pips at 118.77. Pound sterling off 10 pips at 127.98. Aussie is up 28 pips at 72.97. Canadian dollar right now down 7 pips at 131.83. The euro yen is up 43 pips at 125.82. Dollar yen up 8 pips. Nope, I'm sorry. Make that unchanged at 106.15. And we got the Kiwi right now up 28 pips at 66.77. Soybeans up 6 points at 9.83.5. Corn up 2.25 at 3.67.25. And wheat up 1.5, trading at 5.49 3/4. So you know what happens next. Overnight news. All right, so we got Goldman Sachs upgrading the Q3 U.S. GDP forecast to 35% after stronger August jobs report. Goldman Sachs has upgraded its forecast for the U.S. economy and now expects GDP to reach 35% in the third quarter of the year, making it by far the most bullish bank on Wall Street. Tesla stock price could fall another 5 to 10% if a negative herd mentality prompts massive selling. Tesla has had a tumultuous week, including a market sell-off and a surprise exclusion from the S&P 500, causing the stock to shed 10% in a week alone. But shares in the electric vehicle manufacturer could come under fire again. First and foremost, let me tell you this, and let me tell you now. As far as the Tesla situation, I've been told you about Tesla and how deep the correction could go as the market has mad gaps to fill down below. I explained to you guys a long time ago that you cannot have a healthy trend without filling all your gaps and dealing with all your pointers. You just can't. All right. It's just the nature of the market. It has nothing to do with herd mentality. As a matter of fact, if you really want to talk about herd mentality, it's the big old, billion-dollar funds that are the ones that are hurting right now. All right, they already announced, a month ago that they were mad short in these markets. All right, and they were laughing at all the retail specs because even though they announced to you what their positions were, the uninitiated did not understand their language and figured these old boomers don't know what they're talking about. Buy, buy, buy. And now that people are getting their faces ripped off, it's always the retail trader, the spec, the little teeny speculator that gets blamed for anything that they perceive as bad happening in these markets, when the truth is the retail spec is just the scapegoat for what's happening. The retail spec cannot move a market. The big funds move markets. All right. Because while the little retail spec is buying 1 lots and 2 lots, the big funds are buying millions of lots. All right. So let's just keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. All right. The UK economy grew 6.6% in July as lockdowns eased, but has recovered only about half of lost output. Britain's economy grew for a third straight month in July, expanding by 6.6% as lockdown restrictions ease, but is yet to recover even half of the output lost to the coronavirus pandemic, the National Statistics Agency said on Friday. Notice how the heading contradicted the actual body of information. The heading says that they recovered about half, but then when you read the text, it says they have not even recovered half. Headings can be very misleading, very clickbaitish, right? All right, Peloton stock jumps after the connected fitness company turns its first quarterly profit. Peloton shares jumped as much as 13% in pre-market trading on Friday after the connected fitness company turned its first quarterly profit ever. All right, so good for you. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, global stocks are mixed. European stocks are mixed. All major Asian stocks closed up, and futures here in the United States, we got an average of around 0.7% in the green. Earnings coming in, we got Avis Victoria Q2 20 earnings and Kroger Q2 20 earnings are due. As far as on the economic front, we got the Baker Hughes U.S. oil rig count and U.S. monthly budget statements are due. All right, so now you know what it is. It's always, something going on here. It's never just a dull moment. There's always something going on somewhere in one of these markets. And as you know, today is Take Back Friday. What that means is if a market's been down all week, you can expect an uptick today. And if it's been up all week, you can expect a downtick today. However, today is a little bit weird because it is not only a Friday, Take Back Friday, but it's also the anniversary of 9/11. And I've never known the market to close negative on the anniversary of 9/11. All right, so let's let that sink in. We had the consumer price index came out at 8:30, along with core CPI. And at 2 o'clock, we got the federal budget, but that's not going to do anything to the market. I think the market's already set its course for the day, and we should be very quiet. I don't expect any fireworks. I expect the markets to be rather mute today, with any highs or lows being made here in the morning. So not a whole lot to see here. All right, so as you know, it's been a weird week. There's a lot happening in the news right now, but none of which would really do anything to change the market outcomes. Let me explain. The focus right now is around what's going on with the NASDAQ, what's going on with crude oil, what's going on with gold, what's going on with silver, and what's going on with Bitcoin. Those are the key areas of focus. So based on last night's projections, when I gave you the intraday price inflection points for today, those intraday price inflection points should actually hold today because of the anniversary of 9/11 and because it's Take Back Friday and a whole bunch of other things. Even if we speak right now, the futures composite index on the Bitcoin right now is in the range that I gave you of 10,000 to 10,500. We're at 10,340. All right, so it is building that base that we spoke about months ago when I gave you the analysis. That's what's panning out as we speak right now. As far as crude oil, I gave you that crash alert days ago, back when it was at the in the 40s, and here we are now in the 30s, and threatening to go into the mid to lower 30s. And crude oil, again, getting that downside production from the crash alerts. Then we got gold and silver. Now, gold and silver right now are kind of stuck in a holding pattern. They've been moving sideways. No real conviction on the bears or the bulls side. All right. If you missed last night's analysis, you're going to want to check that out. I not only give you what the intraday price inflection points are, but I also give you where the market bias is for the trading session. So that's pretty much what's going on. But there's a lot of news out here. You know, California is on fire again, and just a lot of weird things happening, you know, as we get closer to this election, you know, and then there's other talk, and it's very interesting because everyone's talking about recovery this and recovery that, right? But then you got to ask yourself a few questions. If this is the recovery, then what are things going to look like once the economic conditions start to deteriorate again? Okay. More than half of all households, all right, in certain cities are facing serious financial problems. And Americans continue to file for unemployment benefits at a rate that the United States had never seen before prior to 2020. When 695,000 workers filed for unemployment benefits during a single week in 1982, it established a record which stood for nearly 38 years. But now we have been way above that old record for 25 weeks in a row. And on Thursday, we learned that another 884,000 Americans filed new claims for unemployment benefits last week. Now, on top of that, they're not the only ones struggling financially. The unemployed is, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's duh. Of course, they're going to struggle financially because their income has been compromised. They've lost their jobs, they've been laid off, whatever. And then you had that $600 bonus in unemployment benefits that has also been taken away. But what's not really getting a lot of press is how banks in the financial sector are struggling. All right. They need to be bailed out. If Warren Buffett didn't come to the rescue of Bank of America, we would be having a different conversation this morning. I also showed you over the past few weeks how this market rally that you're seeing is also unsustainable. It's unsustainable because, first of all, that's the opening bell just rung. So those that need to move stops and lock in profit ahead of the weekend, do what you got to do, handle your business. But I've showed you how this market rally, it's not sustainable without the financial sector, the banking sector rallying with it. You can't really have a bull market without the banking and financial sector. It doesn't work like that. So for the first time in history, we're seeing the banking and financial sector in bear markets on daily charts. Not to mention the weekly charts, but on the daily charts, we're getting no momentum. We're getting no play whatsoever, no bids in the financials and the banking sector. No bids, man. No one's talking about this. No one's talking about this. The financial and the banking sector has to catch up to the rest of the market, or the bull market is doomed. The bull market is doomed. All right. The Fed can only do but so much with his laptop. All right. The Fed chairman's laptop, you know, is all of that. It's tricked out. It got all types of RAM, all right, all types of memory and processing speed. All right, he got the illest laptop on the planet. All right, his laptop got the little alien head on it, but it's not alien where. His laptop fell from outer space and landed in his lap, and it only has one button on it. Imagine a laptop with only one button on it, and that button says buy. And when he presses that button, he buys everything in the market. He buys all the stocks and the futures and the forex and crypto, whatever he got to buy, he'll buy it. Even if he got to buy baseball cards to prop up this market, that's what he will do. He'll buy Garbage Pail Kids, baseball cards, you name it. All right. One button, the buy button. And he has had that button taped down on the keyboard, so it's a continual buy. The button is held down. Then he decided, no, I don't want to use tape because then I run the risk of the tape becoming weak and the button popping up, and then there's no buying, and then the market collapses. So he came up with a great idea. He said, let me get some crazy glue or some gorilla glue and just glue the button down. That way it's constantly buying, and I don't have to sit here and do anything about it. And that's what he's done. He has glued the button down on the keyboard, the buy button, and he is just buying nonstop because they know that once that button stops buying, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So this is where we are. So Wall Street is struggling, but it doesn't look like it because you see the market going up, new all-time highs. So you think, oh, the market's doing great. The market is not in good shape. It's not in good shape. I like to liken it like this episode of Grey's Anatomy, going back mad seasons ago, where the guy Sloan, remember when he had that quote unquote surge where he felt like I feel like I'm the best I feel in my life, and what he didn't realize, well, I'm sure he did after they explained it to him, and then he realized that being a doctor and all, that he was experiencing a surge, meaning that he was about to die. He was not going to ever recover and get out of that hospital bed. Well, that's kind of what the market is right now. The market is experiencing a surge. The market is rallying. It's happy. It's experiencing a surge. But underneath all of this, the patient is terminally ill. That's why the banking and financial sector can't get out of bed. All right. Cannot recover from the losses of February and March of 2020. How they say 2020. They can't. Therefore, the patient is sick. On the outside, the patient looks healthy. On the inside, the patient's insides are rotting away. You cannot sustain this without the banking and financial sector. I'm just saying. Then, so that's Wall Street. But then when you flip the script back to Main Street, you see that weekly jobless claims were worse than expected last week amid a plodding climb for the U.S. labor market from the damage inflicted by the coronavirus pandemic. And then the Labor Department on Thursday reported that 884,000 first-time filings for unemployment insurance compared with 850,000 expected by economists surveyed by Dow Jones. The total was unchanged from the previous week, but of course, it's always important to look at the non-adjusted numbers, and according to those numbers, we actually saw an increase over the previous week. Now, the Labor Department changed its methodology in how it seasonally adjusts the numbers. So the past 2 weeks' totals are not directly comparable to the reports from earlier in the pandemic. Claims not adjusted for seasonal factors totaled 850,148, an increase of 20,140 from the previous week. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting rough out here. Now, this is how you know how rough it really is getting. Okay? Are you ready? How many of you have gone shopping lately? Have you been inside of the Sam's Club? Have you noticed something odd? I noticed that while we were still in the month of August, I saw Halloween costumes. I saw Thanksgiving products, and I saw Christmas products. They're covering all 3 seasons, all 3 holidays. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Yes. Christmas trees, Christmas lights, ornaments and decorations, all types of things for the fall to get you ready for Thanksgiving, and pie crusts and everything, turkey basters. And then I also saw the Halloween costumes out and Halloween candy in the month of August. Has anyone noticed this pattern over the past several years? It's a new phenomenon. It's not an old thing. It's a new phenomenon. Back in the day, you wouldn't hear about back to school shopping until it got closer to that time they go back to school, like in August, right? Preparing, because kids would traditionally go back to school after Labor Day, which was usually on September the 2nd, September the 3rd, you go back to school. But over the past several years and past couple of decades, things have been rapidly changing because, see, retail has been dying. But no one wants to talk about that because you're not supposed to. Because as long as you can shop on Amazon and eBay, everything is okay, right? But your retail stores have been closing up shop in droves, like a herd of elephants running for their life from Ben. That may have went over some of y'all's head, but Ben was the famous rat. Remember that movie from what, the 70s? Ben. Remember that? So the elephants are running for their lives because Ben is not just your normal rat. He's a genius rat. He's a rat that can read. Okay. And that's what we got going on right now. All right. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. We got mall shop closing up. Let me tell you something. Just from a selfish standpoint, there are some mom and pops and there's some, retail chains that I don't want to see go. Like, think about it. Where else can you go and get, used video games and used systems for super discounted cheap prices if you don't go to GameStop? Well, you're going to try to go online? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. But see, convenience is always better because you could go into the store, with your Atari and say, I'm trying to load this Atari from 1975. What can you do for me? And he'll give you $5 for the whole system and all your games combined, and say, here's a coupon for $5 off anything you want to get in the store, and you're happy with that. All right, because it's the convenience. You got there, you drove there, you got there in a couple of minutes, and boom, you was able to handle your business. And then you look in the wall, you see all these PlayStation and Xbox games that you may have missed, and you're like, man, I can get this game for 50 cents. Let me go ahead and get this game for 50 cents. Man, I'm gonna get 10 of these joints. They're only 50 cents. Let me get 10 of these joints. You can't really do that anywhere else. If you go to the PlayStation store online and try to buy some games, they still want full price for games that came out 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So GameStop serves a purpose. So have you thought about how that's going to change the way you do gaming when they go away? How about your local mom and pop, the one that makes those steak and cheese subs that you like? Or maybe they got the best pizza in town, and it was a tradition for you to go eat there on every Friday on payday. What happens when that favorite eatery spot goes away now because they haven't been allowed to reopen since the pandemic, and now they're out of business, they're bankrupt, they're gone? A lot of your favorite little corner stores and mom and pop stores and even big chains, they're going away, they're dying. So have you thought about how are you going to get the goods that you took for granted that was so easy for you to get? Have you thought about that, how that's going to affect your shopping? I know you can get just about everything on Amazon and eBay. I know that, but there's something you don't understand, though. Amazon and eBay are the Dow Jones and NASDAQ of goods and services, meaning that you don't know if you're going to be able to find what you're looking for at the price you want to get it for. At least when you go to your local store, you already know what the prices are. You know what their inventory is because it's a little niche mom and pop store. They sell all the candy from the 1970s. They sell all these little little doodads, things, little nostalgic things, what have you. And you like going in there and talking to the owners and stuff. But now they're gone because you know what? They couldn't open. They wouldn't let them open, and they lost money, they lost business, they're out of business. You try to go on Amazon or eBay to find those things, you may or may not find them, but if you do, some idiot on there wants $1,000 for one candy bar. I know you guys have seen that pattern, right? That doesn't happen at GameStop or some other places. When you go in there to buy what you're looking for, they have it. And all right, and it's not marked up all the way up 10,000%. Well, when you go on Amazon during the pandemic, if you decide, what, I don't have nothing else better to do, let me go ahead and get that Xbox that came out 10 years ago, and let me just play a few games on there, entertain myself. Oh no, that's not going to happen because they want $600. You'd be like, $600? But I seen this game, the same game system in GameStop a month ago for $95. Nope, they want 600, the same price of a new console that's coming out around Christmas time. The new technology is coming out around Christmas time, the new Xbox, new PlayStation. So if you want, one from 3 generations ago, their asker on Amazon wants 600. Now, before the pandemic happened, he was only saying, give me $100, you can have it. And I'll throw in 10 games too. But after the pandemic, now he wants $600. Okay? See, that's the downside of going all digital for your shopping needs. Yeah, it's convenient because Amazon has a drone that they can deliver it to you in 5 minutes after you purchase it. That's all nice, well, and good, but you're sacrificing something else for that convenience, and that's price and availability. You would think, just by definition, that when you shop online, any and everything that you want is readily available at your disposal. But how many of you have been shopping even before this pandemic? Let's go back to last year or even 2018. How many times have you gone on eBay or Amazon to look for something? You finally found what you want, what you needed, what you look for, but guess what? It's out of stock. Either that or the delivery time, the delivery time turnaround on it is absolutely absurd. See, we've lost. You think you've gained some convenience because you didn't have to leave your house to buy the product. But if you need the product, right, and you need it for a certain, like now, it's not always available for you to get now. You may have to wait weeks. And if it's coming from overseas, you have to wait a month and a half. You see what I'm saying? So we've given up a lot of things. You're like, okay, I don't mind if all the brick and mortars go away. So what? But then you only have one choice, and that's Amazon and eBay now. You have no other choices. You have no other choice. And unfortunately, there's some scammers on there still, right? You can actually buy fake reviews. A lot of companies have done that when they'll have like 200 or 300 good smiley reviews that they've bought and paid for. They're not real reviews. And then your experience, you always wonder why you went to someone that had a good rating, or if it wasn't necessarily a good rating, they had a couple of hundred good comments, very detailed comments about their delivery experience and things like that. But then when you get your shipment, not only is the box wet on the outside, but everything on the inside is shattered and broken and spilled or missing. You didn't get everything you paid for. You got bait and switched. You wanted the brown crackers instead. You got the green crackers. Just weirdness like that. How many of you have experienced and noticed that? See what I'm saying? Then now you gotta get back on the phone. You gotta call Amazon. You gotta get things replaced or get your money back or whatever. It's not always a smooth system like it used to be when you would get your butt out of the house, get in your car, and drive to the mall and get what you want and come home, and you know that you picked this out and you know what's in it. And everything is good and copacetic. You ain't got to come back to the mall. You don't have to pick a phone up and call someone and spend an hour on the phone trying to fix this transaction when you used to just be able to go to the mall and boom, you're done. See what I'm saying? So you think we're gaining convenience, but actually we're losing convenience and gaining inconvenience. All right. Online shopping has become inconvenient instead of what it was intended to be, which is extremely convenient because you don't have to leave your house. But that's not always a good thing because you have no control over the process of how you receive what you order. Now, don't get me mistaken. There's a lot of great experiences with shopping online. I've had some, but I've also had some disasters. How many times have I had shopping disasters going to the mall? I can't think of any. The only time you have to go to the mall is to return something because the sweater's the wrong size. Or when you open the box, maybe something was missing because someone else returned it, and they have to tape it back up and put it back out on the floor. But that's pretty much it. Your bad shopping experiences are few and far between when it comes to the actual transaction of the goods and services itself. I'm not talking about the salespeople or the long lines. I'm talking about just the process of you going and picking out what you want, putting it in your cart, going to the checkout, and then taking what you bought home, and that's the end. You don't have to worry about anything else. There's not, oh no, this is not what I ordered. See what I'm saying? So there's a lot of pros and cons and unintended consequences for us going to this all digital platform. But that's really what we're doing. Mom and pops go away, they no longer exist, and all of your transactions now are online. And that's where we've been headed for a while now. Even jobs. It used to be, if you needed a job, you would go beat the pavement. You walk into a place, ask for a job application, find out, who's hiring, what are they hiring for, what are they looking for, boom, fill out the app, and bam, the process begins. But have you noticed that even that has changed? It used to be, there was a time, and I remember it clearly, where depending on what your skill set was or what your experience was, you could literally quit your job and by lunchtime be starting somewhere else. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Literally quit your job right now, and by lunchtime today, you started at a new job with better pay, better benefits, better working environment. It used to be that easy to get a job based on your skill set and your experience. It literally used to be like that. I also remember a time when, depending on what industry you worked in and your skill set and experience, some of us were accosted in the parking lot by rival companies and be like, look, man, I ain't got a lot of time, but here's a briefcase full of money. We're right here across the street. If you come work for us right now, this briefcase is yours. Consider it a signing bonus. And you would get in your car and drive from the parking lot you're in to their parking lot, and boom, you just started a new career in a new company. All right, headhunters used to be vicious. They would come at you, heavy. All right, you had that going on, and all right, I'm not going to forget the blue collar people. Same thing with the blue collar people. I remember there were times too where they would come at you. They heard you was really good with your hands. You're a plumber, you're an electrician, whatever. Yo, man, come work with me, man. I could use somebody like you, man. Come on, I got you. And it was so easy to get jobs, good jobs. Even people who worked in retail, you could literally walk into the mall, be like, and you could see all the different stores that are hiring, whatever. You go in there, fill out a job application, and if you knew the person, especially if you knew the person working there, the manager, whatever, yo, what's up, Rick? Hey, man, what you doing, man? Man, I'm out of work, man. I'm looking for a job. Man, don't even sweat it. I got you. You want to start now? Here, come on. Boom. It used to be like that. It used to be like that, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm talking about real experiences. It used to be like that. Now it's not. Now you get this. Hey, I said, y'all hiring, man. Can I get an application? I mean, is the manager around? Can I talk to your manager? Nah, bruh. You gotta go to this website and you gotta fill out the application online. Now, when that first started, you was like, okay, that's not bad. All right, let me go ahead. I do have American Online. I got AOL. I got that dial up. I can go ahead and turn that on and go to your website and fill out an application. It used to be like that. It used to be a simple process, right? Not anymore. Now, when they refer you to their website, oh my goodness, it is on a whole nother level. Okay. When you go to the website now, of course, you got your standard job application stuff. Who are you? Where are you from? Where did you go to school? What kind of acronyms you have after your name? Where did you work before? Who did you work for? What was your job title? What were your duties? Blah, blah, blah. Right? Oh, but it doesn't stop there. No, that's just the introduction. Now, this computer, this website is going to pull your credit report. They're going to search your social media, they're gonna Google you, take a look at your insides and out, look at your tax returns, see what pops up under your social security number, see if you got bench warrants. You're being totally examined like you're under a microscope butt naked. They're probing every orifice of your body. All right. Then you think, okay, that was really intrusive. All right, so when do I start, basically, right? Oh, not so fast. Now we got to do a deeper background check on you, which is going to take about a week or so. If you pass that, then you can come in for an interview. You had to go through all of that before you could even get the interview. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. It gets even worse. Now you got to take exams online. Psychological exams are the basic part for the course for just about any job now. Psych exams. Yep. And sometimes you may even have to basically take an SAT. That's what it pretty much boils down to. They're going to test your math and reading comprehension, but the biggest one is the psych. You may have to take several different of those disguised as not to be psych tests. One of the most famous questions that I remember from back in the day was, have you ever breached the cockpit of an airplane with intention to hijack the plane? Actual questions, straight up, I'm not lying. Have you ever breached the cockpit of an aircraft? And then they hit you with the moral exams, moral and ethics exams. So your best friend, you catch his hand in the drawer, in the cashier drawer. Do you report your friend? Do you go talk to your friend? If you go talk to him, what do you say to your friend? Blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's par for the course on any job. I don't care if you want to go work at McDonald's, work at Walmart, 7-Eleven, don't matter. You're going to have to take those exams. And depending on what your psych score is on there, that'll depend if you get a call back for an interview or not. Now, I will tell you who the puppet master was of the psychological examinations, and that was Wall Street. Their psych examinations were brutal, right? And you had to know what the algo was in order to pass those back in the day. Believe it or not, it was based on an algorithm. All right, and this is before, we had the internet like we have the internet today, and cell phones and social media and all that stuff. All right, it was a different time, but you would go and they would hit you had to take this exam, and it was designed to trip you up. It was designed to trip you up. And some of them will be investing type questions, basic stuff like that to see where you at, whatever. And then you would go and you would have to face a panel, and you would have to go through several interviews before you would, get that handshake and welcome aboard. And yeah, you had to take a lot of exams, math exams, quizzes, things like that. No joke. They were brutal. Their psych exam things were brutal. And those exams came from the insurance industry because they were, they're linked. Series 65 is pretty much selling mutual funds, and you can get your life and health. So you're selling health insurance, life insurance, and those psych evaluations are set. And some of them can be very tricky depending on what organization you're going with. But some of the older traditional companies like New York Life, yeah, they hit you with those. And based on how you answer those questions will determine if you even get invited for an interview. I'm not kidding. They were brutal. But I had figured out what the algorithm was. So I learned how to beat those tests. I would ace all of those tests. I aced the mess out of them. But they look at everything. Now it's different. It's even worse now. A lot of those jobs don't exist anymore. But just in general, getting a job now is a brutal process because they're looking at everything. And then after they examine you to death, then they say, okay, I need you. We set up an appointment for you to go to this clinic and take this drug and alcohol screening. Yep. You got to go pee in the cup, and they got to extract blood from your arm. That's right. They're doing all this probing, and just to get you the job. Now, that's your last step. They only send you to get the drug and alcohol screening if you're considered for the job. That's your last thing you gotta pass. If you pass that, then you got the job. So you only get to that drug and alcohol screening when they're about to give you the job. If you fail that though, no matter what your scores were and all the other stuff, you're done. Game over. I just smoked a little weed. Don't matter. You're done. I had a few drinks the other night. We went partying. You're done. Not happening. Not happening for you. So sorry. And it's just, you would think, okay, well, that makes sense. But nope. Now, because of all these other metrics that they use, you can be kicked out and not even get to that process just based on what you put in your resume. Certain key words they look for too, to say, okay, well, this person, according to our algorithm, they have the propensity to be a maniac. So I can't hire them because you use this word in your resume. Okay. So today it's everything that I said to you, plus, like I said earlier, they're adding in now your social media. Absolutely. But they're pulling your credit report. They are looking at your back. They're running a background on you. They're looking at social media. They're looking at your affiliations. Now, some job things online ask you about your affiliations, and they say list every organization that you are a member of, and they say include church. If you're a deacon at your church, they want to know. And then they say, do you have any gang affiliations? Are you a Blood? Are you a Crip? Are you a former gang member? And then, you can lie about a lot of stuff, but unfortunately, when they do the background and or pull your tri-merge credit report, yes, they're going to pull a tri-merge. It's going to show up. All right. Child support issues show up on a tri-merge credit report. All right. Your felony record, it's going to come up on the tri-merge credit report. And depending on what organization you're applying for a job for, this is where you got to be careful. Government jobs, you guys are on a whole nother level. On another level. Depending on what you're going for, anything that's associated with the government, it's a government job, or you work for a contractor with a government contract. And if any of that stuff is like top secret stuff, whatever, you're on a whole nother level, because now they're not just pulling your tri-merge credit report. Oh no, when they do the background on you, let me tell you how deep they go, because a lot of people think that they plan and that it's not real. But I'm going to tell you some true stories right now. They run you through the U.S. Postmaster, the postal system. They run you through FBI. They run you through local police, state police. They run you through Department of Homeland Security. They have this machine, and this is back in the day. I'm sure it's even more advanced now. There's a machine. Those of you that are listening, you can chime in the live chat if you had to do battle with this machine. There's a machine, and there's it looks like a big giant printer, but it's not a printer. They say place your hand on there, like your right hand on that joint, right? And it could take anywhere. It used to take like 10 minutes. All right, you're standing up, your hand on this glass machine, and it's scanning. It's taking like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Right? This scan is running you through every federal database, law enforcement database, anything, the court system, everything. It's running, it's everything. Everything. By the time you lift your hand off that glass, if you got bench warrants, if you are a fugitive from justice, if ICE is looking for you, if Interpol is looking for you, it runs you through all of that. Think I'm lying? Don't let it happen to you. Don't ever, if you dirty, don't ever put your hand on that glass. As a matter of fact, they warn you before you put your hand on the glass. They say, this is your last chance. Is there anything you need to tell us so that we can, document it or help you, or, just give you some type of counsel before you put your hand on that glass? Because they tell you, once you put your hand on the glass, there's no turning back. They can't do anything for you. They can't help you. They cannot help you. Once you put your hand on the glass, it's a wrap. So if you're running from the law or anything like that, it's going to come up when you put your hand on that glass. I'll tell you some true stories. One dude said, yeah, not a problem. I'm good. Put his hand on that glass. Before this whole interview process, because it takes like 3 hours, there's a bunch of people in there. It's a bunch of you going for the job. By the time we finished the process, by the time he walked outside, the black vehicles was waiting for him. I'm not kidding. Black vehicles. You know what I'm talking about. The black vehicles with the black tinted out windows. Them Oldsmobiles back in the day. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The black SUVs and all that was waiting for him when he walked outside. It's not a joke. Now, this is back in the day. Imagine what that process looks like now that we got all these new agencies and Department of Homeland Security and social media and all of that. Trust and believe, they know everything about you. You think they don't? Oh, yeah, they do. They know more than what they will ever tell you that they know about you. So it's making the job process now even more impossible. That's one of the reasons why we got 50 plus million people out of work. Not because they're lazy and they just want to stay home and collect an unemployment check. No. They're out of work because they literally cannot find a job. Let me explain. I remember too, there were circumstances back in the day. You could go to a place, we'll say XYZ company, hiring, got a big old sign outside, hiring on the spot, apply within. You guys probably never seen that, but back in the day, there were signs that was basically on the spot hiring. You come in right now, if we like you, you hired. We don't care about nothing. Just come in, please. We need bodies. Hiring. Start today. Just come in. People go in and people come right back out. Not because they didn't want the job, not because they weren't qualified for the job. They couldn't get the job if their life depended on it because they can't survive a background check. You have millions of people today that cannot survive a background check. They can only work at jobs that do not do background checks. It used to be, there were quite a few jobs that didn't do background checks. They really didn't care. But now, because of all the new reality that we're living in, just about everybody does a background check. Thorough background checks. Depending on what industry that you work in, some are more thorough than others. And like I said, they run you through every federal database in existence, including the U.S. Postal Inspector. I'm not kidding. So there are a lot of people today that want to work that will never be able to work because of the background. Now, it's already hard on men and women who have gone through the penal system. You would think that, okay, I did the crime, I did my time. Why do I still have this scarlet letter on my forehead? I paid my debt to society. I just want to work. I want to start over. I want to have a clean slate. Why won't nobody hire me? You would think, well, if you're a violent convicted felon, you murdered 10 people, or you raped 20 women, or you stabbed some people. People scared of you. All right, you would think, okay, that's logical. It's messed up, but it's logical, right? You would think that's logical. Or you're a sex offender. Okay, well, that's logical. They don't want you up in their establishment. Or you're a thief. You're applying for a cashier job and you're a thief. Or you're applying for a job at a bank and you're a convicted thief. You're an embezzler or money launderer, whatever. Of course, they're a little nervous about hiring you in a financial capacity. So you would understand that, right? But no, it could be nonviolent crimes. It could be white collar crimes. It can be as simple as driving without a license. If you got a felony on your record, you probably will never get a job. McDonald's won't take you. Walmart won't take you. Now, it used to be, of course, things have changed rapidly in the past several years. It used to be they had what is called felony-friendly companies. And believe it or not, a lot of them were the big names, like your Walmarts and your McDonald's and stuff like that. Believe it or not, a lot of the retailers used to they would look past a lot of stuff and give you that chance, right? Um, especially the ones that use prison labor at night anyway to work in their warehouse. Those are the ones that are more flexible of working with convicted felons. But now even that has pretty much gone out the window because a lot of the retail jobs the convicted felons would take because that's the only job they can get, or janitorial cleaning type jobs. But now because of the pandemic, you have isolated all of those individuals too. Think about how difficult this is with the unintended consequences. You got dudes coming out of the system that are on probation, and one of the terms of probation is you must have a job or you go back into the system. They're going to get violated because there's no jobs. No one's hiring, and they have a scarlet letter on their forehead. Do you see how bad this really looks when you get outside of your own bubble and look at the reality that we're currently living in as a whole and not just what's going on with your neck of the woods? So this causes even more situations to happen. Then you throw in a pandemic and a virus and the fear of a virus and a resurgence and a round two. Then you throw in an uncertainty of an election. They're already talking that the election will not be determined and that it's going to be a fight. All right. Basically a fight to the death to see who's going to take power, because it's not going to be decided in November. It's going to be a conspiracy like with Bush. Remember that? The pregnant Chads, the butterfly Chads. You had all these different Chad terminologies coming out of Florida. All right. So they're saying it's going to be worse than that. They're saying that they're preparing that on election night, you're not going to know who the president is. The following morning, you're not going to know who the president is. 24 hours, still no president. 48 hours, 72 hours, still don't know who the president is. A week, we still don't know who the president is. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Markets hate uncertainty. Markets will sell off just on the strength of that alone. And it makes sense. When you take profit, remember, all sell-offs in a market is not short sellers. All it takes for a sell-off in a market is for a bunch of people to decide, I want to take profit today. Well, how do you take profit in a stock? You have to sell it. You bought Microsoft at 100. It's now trading at 300. You want to cash out. You got to put in a sell order. You got 1 million shares. That's going to move that market. Other people thinking like you. Well, I got 2 million shares. I want to sell mine too at 300. Then another guy say, well, you know what? I got 5 million shares. I want to sell at 300. Then you got the little teeny dude. Well, I have 100 shares. I want to sell at 300 too. Well, I have 5 shares. I want to sell too. Well, I got 1,000 shares, and on and on and on. That's all it takes is for all those individuals to decide around the same time, you know what? I'd like to get out at 300. Please cash me out. Microsoft stock plummets. Breaking news, Microsoft down 3%. These darn short sellers, we should ban them from the market. Actually, sir, it's not short sellers. According to the tape today, this is profit taking. There are no net short positions today. What do you do then? Do they close trading in Microsoft for the day? Did they ban trading for the rest of the day? Did they pause and halt the stock? Individual stocks can be halted. They've halted trading in Microsoft today. That doesn't mean that when they reopened it, it's not going to be even more selling. Matter of fact, when you halt trading in a stock for no reason like that, it makes people really panic. Why are they halting trading? Oh, something's wrong. As soon as they allow trading, everybody and their mama hitting the exits now. See what I'm saying? It don't have to be. You can't always blame the short seller. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always them. It's other people as well. They just say, I want to take profit. I want to get out of the market. All right. What about that? So what I'm saying to you is there comes a time when there are unintended consequences. And I think that the path that the country is on right now is going to lead to those unintended consequences. The powers that be think they are wise and all powerful Oz. All right. They're not the wise and all powerful Oz. There is no way that you can think of every uncertainty and every possibility and prepare for that, because human beings are finite by nature. All right. So you cannot possibly know every unforeseen situation that can arise based on your actions. All you know is that every action has a counter reaction. What have they put forward? They put all their cards on the table and said, you know what? We need to wreck the economy to get Trump out of office. So they've made this about political. So it's become political. Forget you and your family's livelihood. It's about them wanting to seize power. It's really ridiculous. And that is something that you all should think about going into this weekend. That's why I teach my students at PulseWaveTrading.com that you need to get into a habit of learning to take profit, because greed can kill you. It can destroy you. Think about it this way. You think, oh, well, the market's already gone up 10 million%. It can go up another 5 million%. And then you get stuck in a situation where you could have gotten out and taken some profit, but now you can't get out of the market at all. See what I'm saying? So these are very serious times that require serious thought and consideration. That's why I do what I do. I'm trying to educate as many people as possible so that as few people as possible get hurt. Because I think that the market has spoiled a lot of people and fooled them into thinking that they can't get hurt and that stocks only go one direction. And as you have now learned, that could not be furthest from the truth. All right. Today is an important day. It's 9/11. Except for it's not moving so far this morning like 9/11. It's starting to move like this is not the anniversary of 9/11. Today is a true revealing of the health and strength of the financial markets. If any one of these markets closes negative today, that will tell you exactly where we are and how serious things are about to get even before we get to November. Case in point, the Dow Jones futures contract is officially in a corrective state. We're in a correction. We have temporarily topped out. We've hit a temporary high. Even the S&P 500 has topped out. We've hit a temporary high. We are now officially in retracement. NASDAQ 100, we've hit a temporary high. We put in a short-term top. We're now in official correction mode. Russell My Hustle, officially in correction mode. We have a short-term top. What am I saying? In all of your major averages, we have now officially put in short-term tops today. All right. Short-term tops. Gold futures, according to the algo chart, is in the Kumo cloud. And yes, we've hit a short-term top in gold, but it's not in a corrective state. It's just in the Kumo cloud at this moment with the market bias to the long side of the market. What about oil? Oil is in a corrective state, and we've hit a short-term top. Market bias temporarily is to the long side of the market, but that could change depending on how we close today. Silver. Silver is still in a bullish configuration. However, the market bias is still to the long side of the market. But again, gold and silver could change their overall perspectives based on how the markets close today. Today's close is going to be very important for the markets, extremely important for the markets. I can't stress that enough. If you missed it last night, you're going to want to go and watch the end-of-day report because I gave you the intraday price inflection points, and it's going to be very important going into next week. Next week could be a rather surprising week, depending on how we close today, ladies and gentlemen. You could see a massive sell-off in the U.S. stock indexes next week if today's close fails. These closes cannot fail today. All right. So with that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Remember to push back from the news. All right. Sit back and relax. Do something fun and relax and spend time with the spouse and kids, family and friends. Play some video games. 2K21 right now is probably, in my opinion, the best 2K ever. This is their best ever. The way the changes that they made. This is how 2K20 should have been. I still think 2K20 and 2K18 are the worst 2Ks ever, but I think this 2K21 is way more fun, and it's reminiscent of 2K, 15 and 16. So, yeah, I think they finally got it together. I think when the new consoles come out, the next gen comes out, it's going to be interesting. I've been watching Take-Two Interactive stock as well. This is going to also let us know, where we're going to end, for the year. Because if that stock can't maintain a bullish outlook with the release of 2K21, then that also is very telling. There should be no reason why that stock can't end the year in the green with the release of 2K. Okay? There should be no reason for it. There should be no reason for it. And yeah, Take-Two Interactive right now is in the Kumo cloud according to the algo chart, and the trade bias is literally to the downside. It can change all that today, though. It has to do it today. So we're at the crossroads, people. We don't know where we're going to end up, but we are in them crossroads. The market is going to have to decide what it is going to do. And I have to tell you, I have no idea what it is going to decide to do. I just know it needs to do it quick. Or, how the saying goes, either you choose or it'll be chosen for you. And I think that's where we are right now. The markets just may go ahead and choose for them. All right, y'all know what it is, man. PulseWaveTrading.com. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Everyone have a great weekend. Peace.